WrestleMania 41 is done, and regardless if you liked it or didn't like it, there's one thing for certain. It was a very memorable WrestleMania. Welcome to Pros and Cons. This is our rebranded hot take series where every single week I'm going to ask you over on Twitter to submit any hot takes that you may have. Thoughts, concerns, opinions, likes, dislikes, pros or cons, whatever else you may have on the show. And then as always, I'm going to sit down right here after Monday Night Raw, Friday Night SmackDown, and every PLE to break it all down, critique, roast, praise, whatever. We're going to talk all about your comments. So if you'd like to be featured in these videos, make sure you follow me over on X at Conman167 and keep your eyes open for the pros and cons tweets. No longer will it be called hot takes, but I'm probably still going to ask for you to submit any hot takes, thoughts, concerns, whatever else you may have on the show. It's just going to be now called Pros and Cons. Now, the reason for the rebrand is I just think that we can add a little more of a review to these hot takes videos. I want to give some of my opinions, things that I liked and didn't like, and then at the end of the video, we'll be able to see just how many pros and cons I have in total. I think it'll be fun, so let's give it a try. So without further ado, here are your pros and cons to WrestleMania 41. Cody versus Cena was a disaster. Cena shouldn't have turned heel. There you go. So this seems to be one of the biggest cons that people have right now is John Cena versus Cody Rhodes and how that match went down. A lot of people were hoping for something more. I don't think, and I might be wrong here, but I don't think the internet is actually mad that John Cena won the championship. In fact, I want to say most people were expecting John Cena to win the 17th world title. But also a lot of people were expecting to see The Rock, and when Big Dwayne didn't show up at the show, it left a bit of a flat taste in people's mouths. Now, in saying that, I actually liked the ending, and I've been flamed on Twitter for the last 24 hours as a result because I enjoyed it. But the reason I liked it was because it was actually what John Cena said was going to happen. He said he was going to walk into WrestleMania. He was going to win the 17th World Championship because that's what was best for business. He was going to give us nothing and we will like it. And that is exactly what we got at the end of WrestleMania, was nothing. We didn't get the return of Dwayne. We got Travis Scott just kind of walking down to the ring. We didn't get anything too flashy, anything too fun, really. In many ways, it was a boring end to WrestleMania. But because of the story being told, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, that the end of WrestleMania was exactly what it needed to be. Now, do I wish we saw The Rock? Yes. Do I wish that there was a bigger swerve that we didn't see coming? Absolutely. Do I wish that Travis Scott didn't have a 40-minute entrance down to the ring and just be at ringside and it would have just felt so much more organic? Absolutely. But that isn't what we got, and I'm not hating what we got. Despite all the noise on social media and everybody here who's watching right now who does disagree with me, I do believe that we are going to get some answers here from John Cena on Monday Night Raw, and it will tie everything together. Is this a main event where people are going to go back and watch it for the next 50 years? I don't know. WrestleMania 40, when we compare that to WrestleMania 41, 40's last 8 minutes were some of the greatest 8 minutes in WWE TV history. We didn't get that same sort of ending here at WrestleMania 41, and in many ways, the main event on night 1 was far better than night 2. But story-wise, I believe that this was a perfect story for the story they are telling. It was the perfect ending for what they are telling right now. It's my opinion, but John Cena's here to ruin wrestling, and from the reaction online, he ruined wrestling. All in all, it's crazy to say, but John Cena winning the 17th World Championship is a pro, but no Dwayne is a con. We're even on that one. So the point of the 2-night main event was to be purposely bad. If that's true and it makes sense storyline-wise, it's still bad either way. You don't end WrestleMania with a purposely bad match to stick it to the fans. And I would agree with this on any other story except for the fact that John Cena is out here saying he's going to try to ruin professional wrestling. I understand from an entertainment standpoint, you want, and I want, to be entertained. And I was entertained, so I'm not upset. I believed that that was a fun main event that had a wild ending because we were all expecting to see The Rock and we didn't see The Rock, right? Was it a bit of a letdown in a way? Yes, and I will agree with everyone on that. It was a bit of a letdown in how it went and how it was formed and the things that we could have got instead. But within the confines of the story that's being told, John Cena wants to ruin pro wrestling, and I can't be upset that's how the story ended, that's how the show ended, that WrestleMania 41 Night 2 went off with John Cena pissing off the fans. It's a bold move. We will see if it works out. And if in 6 months' time, there is no payoff with The Rock, there's no payoff with this John Cena story, it's going absolutely nowhere, and we look back at this and saying that was one of the dumbest main events ever because it led nowhere, then okay, I will absolutely concede and I will admit to everybody that I was wrong. But until we see where the story is going, until we see what's next, what's going to happen on Monday Night Raw, I want to be cautiously optimistic. I didn't hate the main event, no matter how many people want to try to convince me that it was bad. Did I love it? No. Is it my favorite match of the night? Absolutely not. But I understood the story that was going on, and I hope people hear the words I'm saying, because it really wasn't as bad as the internet made it out to be, in my opinion. Could it be better? Yes. Was it? No. Do we get what we get? Yeah. Am I excited to see where it's going to go? Yeah. So again, that's a pro for me, man. Insane copium is what my chat is also saying right now. And look. I get you guys don't like it, but I did. I don't know how else to put it. I enjoyed it. And I'm not going to try to argue with you guys. It's okay if you didn't like it. It's okay if it goes absolutely nowhere and I'm wrong. I'll admit I'm wrong. But until we see where it's going, man, I've got an open ear, an open eye about it. Io Sky getting her flowers finally is great to see. By the end of the year, Io will be seen as the best women's pro wrestler in the world. Not Rhea, Bianca, Liv, whomever. Okay, let's talk about that incredible women's triple threat match. Right out of the gate, that's a pro, a gigantic pro for me. That was my favorite match of the entire weekend, and it absolutely stole the show. What a way to start off WrestleMania 41 Night 2 at the very, very beginning. It was incredible. I don't think anybody is going to disagree with me on that one, that it was one of the top two, if not the best match on the entire weekend. Rhea, Io, and Bianca absolutely crushed it. And the story of this match really was that Bianca Belair thought that she belonged in the main event. Rhea Ripley thought that she belonged in the main event, and they were pushing Io Sky aside. They didn't see Io Sky being a threat here. She was just champion because Rhea Ripley was distracted, and that's how they thought about her. She was never a factor in the build, even though she kept reminding everybody that she was a factor, that she should not be ignored. And what happened? Both Bianca and Rhea underestimated Io Sky, and Io Sky in the end picked up the win and walked out of WrestleMania still doing this dance and still the women's world champion. And getting this big win at WrestleMania after last year losing the championship at WrestleMania is awesome to see for Io Sky, and she absolutely deserves this type of attention. Moving forward, Io Sky really needed this championship while Bianca and Rhea didn't. Bianca's got everything going on with Jade Cargill and Naomi, and that'll keep her busy for a while. And Rhea Ripley, I'm sure, is either going to feud with Bianca after this, or is going to maybe go back after Io. Maybe there's something else unfinished for her. Like, there is still some story that we can explore with Rhea Ripley. Like, I wonder if she gets moved over to SmackDown in the draft, if there is one, because it really does feel like Rhea Ripley's time on Monday Night Raw could be coming to an end. But this will continue to allow Io Sky to thrive in that main event scene, and the amount of matches that we could have for Io will be incredible. Like, she is one of the greatest talents in the world. As soon as she steps into the ring, you know you're going to get a banger of a match. And like, I just want to know from all of you, what do you think is next for Io Sky? Who do you think could step up and be a challenger to her right now? Because, like, let's face it, the field does feel like there's a lot of people who could move up to that main event scene, but it's not super clear cut. It's good The Rock hasn't showed up yet because it still adds depth to the story and will allow for an interference down the line. I don't know if I can consider this a pro necessarily. Like, The Rock being at WrestleMania would have been a bigger deal, and I'm going to say that it would have been a bigger deal, and it would have been better, and it would have been so much more well received had Rock been the man who helped John Cena win that championship. One thing with Rock right now is it does kind of feel like he's just showing up whenever he wants to show up, and WWE has to adjust on the fly. Here's another crazy thing. Months ago, it was being reported that The Rock was not penciled in to be at WrestleMania. This was the report going on for a long time, and that WWE was moving forward without those plans. It also seemed like Rock maybe was going to be at WrestleMania because he said in a reply on his Instagram, don't believe everything you read on the internet, but it ended up being that Rock wasn't at WrestleMania. Had he been there, I guarantee the internet's tune would be very different today with everything that happened, which tells me the right decision was certainly made, but it annoyed a lot of people that the way John Cena went about winning his title didn't happen the way that people wanted, which is very fair. So I would say that it was a con that The Rock was not at WrestleMania. We already had a con earlier on, but it's a con for sure, no doubt, because his inclusion in the main event of WrestleMania would have made more sense than anything. And Travis Scott just coming out by himself was also a con because we were waiting and waiting and waiting for that. So it is a con. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to sit here and pretend that it was the greatest ending to WrestleMania of all time. But what I will continue to say is that it was fine for what it was. Is it the most exciting story? No, but it was fine for the story that they are telling. Because in my opinion, again, John Cena is out here trying to ruin pro wrestling, and he might have done that at WrestleMania. Night 1 had meh matches and a good main event, and Night 2 had amazing matches and a meh main event. This is actually probably one of the most accurate responses that I have seen across all of the tweets, any takes that I have seen whatsoever. Yeah, Night 1 up until the main event was just kind of bleh, and then the main event was one of the greatest main events in WrestleMania history, and then Night 2 was fantastic up till the main event, and then the main event was solid with kind of a lackluster ending that pissed a lot of people off. I understand that if you would have been able to swap those two moments in some way, shape, or form, Night 2 WrestleMania would be remembered as one of the greatest WrestleManias of all time, and I still think it should be viewed in that same light. Like, when you compare WrestleMania Night 2 to a lot of the other standalone WrestleManias, it is so damn good, right? From start to finish, swerves along the way, big WrestleMania moments, great in-ring action, and then also a mega angle at the very end. It did feel like it was a giant WrestleMania. The only problem is that the mega angle at the end was missing one of the key parts. And again, that's what's going to upset a lot of people. And I understand that that's why people are upset at me for saying that I thought it was a perfect ending for the story being told, right? I get why people are upset at me. But the way that we also need to kind of look at WrestleMania now is that Night 1 is going to act as like the first act of WrestleMania. It's going to lead us into that intermission before we go to Night 2. That intermission just happens to be like 12 hours of or 24 hours or however long it ends up being, right? Between shows. You have a little bit of a break and then you go back and you see the next half. The way that WrestleMania was set up this year was a slow build throughout Night 1. It got a little bit better as the night went on, and then it ended with a bang to get you excited for Night 2. And then Night 2 started off with a bang and then slowly did one of those. And then I want to say like there, actually maybe not even slowly down. There's like a little bit of peaks and valleys along the way. And then it ended just a little flat for a lot of people. But again, it wasn't flat for me. And I know people are going to yell copium. I actually like where we're going with this. I do. And if I'm wrong, if this ends up being a horrible angle and it goes absolutely nowhere, I will be the first one to admit that I was wrong. But man, there's just something about this that I want to see where we're going. I want to see what's next for John Cena. I want to see what the hell is going on with Travis Scott. And I am truly curious when The Rock shows up next, if he is going to show up next. I was more excited seeing Joe Hendry make his WrestleMania 41 debut than the ending of the main event. It fell flat. Yeah, let's definitely talk about Joe Hendry making his WrestleMania debut, making his main roster. Well, I guess technically he made his main roster debut in the Royal Rumble. Anyways, making his WrestleMania debut into an insane pop. The TNA World Champion coming out is without a doubt a giant pro. This was awesome, and it was everything it needed to be. Were people obviously hoping for like a Rusev or an Aleister Black or a Karrion Kross or somebody like a Solo Sikoa within the confines of WWE already? Absolutely. This was also such a last-minute pivot that you weren't going to get any person in that match that was going to deliver in the same way that Kevin Owens and Randy Orton were going to deliver. So you couldn't build it up to be the same sort of match where it's like, it's going to be a 15-20 minute banger that has the fans on their feet chanting, "This is awesome," right? That wasn't going to happen with no build. Now, the only person that maybe could have gone in there was Nick Aldis, and that would have still been a similar matchup to what we had there with Joe Hendry. I think it would have been 3 minutes where Randy Orton just delivers an RKO and picks up the win over Nick Aldis. But do we want to waste a Nick Aldis return to the ring on such little build? Or do you want a true story that forces him out of retirement to come back into the ring? For me, I want a story that'll force him out of retirement, something that he has to go back into the ring to fight for. And the Randy Orton match being RKO'd a couple times, it just simply wasn't it. So instead of getting a match with Nick Aldis, or instead of getting a throwaway match with Solo Sikoa or somebody else, instead of using one of the major stars that you just brought over from AEW like a Rusev or Aleister Black, we got a viral moment. We got a moment with Joe Hendry where, let's face it, it is a perfect moment for somebody like Joe to get that rub. He's there for the pop. He's there for the surprise factor. And who knows how long that this level of popularity will continue. Now that he had that opportunity to go to WrestleMania, get that pop, get the crowd to sing along with him, get the crowd to sing and wave their hands side to side, he's probably reached the peak, at least for the time being. Like, I don't know what could be next for Joe Hendry, but that was an awesome moment for his character. And if he can learn from that, if he can grow and he can use that experience to maybe push himself into a new direction and evolve his character even more, who knows what the future holds for him. But if that was the peak of his career right there, what a moment it was, going up against Randy Orton in his 20th year of WrestleMania and delivering all the things that makes Joe Hendry great. He did the boom, boom. He did like the stomp and the clap, and he did the we believe, and he went for the standing ovation. He did the kip up, he did the fall away slam, and he did the turn. But what was perfect about his turn was he never took his eyes right off the hard cam. Randy Orton came in, hit that RKO. It was beautiful. WrestleMania moment to a T. And then not only that, Randy Orton lifted him up at the end, gave him his flowers, showed everybody who Joe Hendry was, only to hit another RKO on him. It was a great WrestleMania moment, in my opinion. Without a doubt, a gigantic pro. Stand and Deliver was the best part of the weekend, and I feel a little unsatisfied with the end of WrestleMania. But after Stand and Deliver, I was only excited for NXT. Only really looking forward to Seth on Raw. This felt special to me, watching NXT Stand and Deliver really deliver a great card. It reminded me of the NXT TakeOver days back when Triple H was running NXT and we were going up against the main roster. A lot of the time, the weekend started off with a takeover on the Saturday, and it was must see. You had to watch the takeovers because 9 times out of 10, they were better than anything that was being produced on the main roster. And seeing NXT follow in those footsteps on WrestleMania weekend, where they took it personally and they said, we are going to make this one of the greatest shows we have ever put on. I am so happy in how they delivered. Was it better than WrestleMania as a whole? It's a very great question because there's no doubt about it. Stand and Deliver from start to finish was a great show. It added so much to the WrestleMania weekend that I'm going to give it a pro right here because the future is so damn bright with Obafemi, Javon Evans, Trick Williams. The women's division is insane. The tag team division, like Fraxium, should be called up today because they just lost those tag team titles. Bring them up to the main roster. They will add so much to the tag team division. And the list could go on and on and on about the amazing talent in NXT. They crushed it on the weekend, and the future is very, very bright. So in comparison to the main roster, what did I like more? I still think I liked night 2 of WrestleMania more than Stand and Deliver. But outside of that main event on night 1, I think I got to say Stand and Deliver cleared night 1 of WrestleMania. So good job, everybody down there. You busted your ass. You crushed it. And I can't wait to see what's next for you. I'm still a bit shocked that Bianca ate the pin. Losing and having her streak broken, along with being the most booed over the past month going into tonight, surely has to lead to a heel turn soon. She needs it. I'm going to give a con right here to the audience booing Bianca Belair. What are we doing here booing this lady? Why are we booing Bianca Belair? What has she ever done to you? What has she ever done to piss off the fans of WWE? I understand that, maybe people want to cheer Io Sky or for some reason wanted to cheer Rhea Ripley, even though she felt like she was the heel in this feud over Bianca Belair. People choose who they want to cheer for, but I'm still very much behind Bianca Belair. I thought that she was going to walk out with the win at WrestleMania, but at the same time, I'm very glad Io Sky decided to step her game up tenfold and be the best version of Io Sky I've ever seen. Like, when Io Sky is one of the best wrestlers on the planet to begin with, and she somehow ramps it up to another gear, to a gear I've never seen before from her, is insane. Like, that might be in consideration for Io Sky's best match in WWE yet. It was fantastic. Hell, I think you could make that argument for both of the other ladies in the match as well. Like, I don't know if you have a better match in WWE history for Rhea Ripley or Bianca Belair either. Like, it really was a damn good match. But it is shocking seeing Bianca Belair's WrestleMania undefeated streak come to an end. We were expecting Bianca Belair to maybe not get pinned at WrestleMania, and so that streak could continue, right? We were maybe expecting Rhea Ripley to be the one who ate the pinfall. But I guess at the same time, you can't manufacture an undefeated streak at WrestleMania, especially with the Undertaker streak being what it was. Like, nobody even really planned on that being an undefeated streak until what, like 10 years into it? Bianca Belair sitting there at 4-0. It could have been a cool idea to continue her undefeated streak, but at the same time, like, you don't need it for Bianca. She's a beast on her own right. She's great in that ring. She's great on the microphone. She's great with her character work. She didn't need it. So at least this takes it away for future WrestleManias. No longer is people going to be saying going into a WrestleMania match like, well, Bianca has to win because she has an undefeated streak. That's gone now, right? That won't be a thing. That won't be a conversation topic. It could make her WrestleMania matches just a little more unpredictable. So I'll say, you know what? Bianca Belair, it's a con seeing her lose her undefeated streak, but I'm also going to write a pro for her losing her undefeated streak because it could open a lot of doors moving forward. Classic con man sitting on a fence. No reason for Logan to win that. Very disrespectful to AJ Styles. His best WrestleMania match is weirdly still versus Shane McMahon. Yeah, I don't know what it is with AJ Styles at WrestleMania. He's such a great wrestler and all of his matches tend to click, but it does feel like when he gets to the grandest stage of them all, for one reason or another, it just doesn't always work. His match with Shane McMahon was bloody amazing, and I was hoping that Logan Paul and AJ Styles were going to be one of the matches of the weekend, but unfortunately, it was just an okay match. You know, maybe, you know what? Maybe okay is a little bit rough. It was a good match that didn't reach the next gear. So I'm going to give that one a con just simply because I was expecting a little bit more. Now, in saying that, Logan Paul looked like $1 million there. His entrance with the drone was fantastic. His presentation and his aura throughout that match I thought were off the charts. And so I got to give that a pro for Logan Paul. That unique entrance. I've never seen anybody grab a drone, go down to the ring with it, let it go, fly all around the stadium, and then come back and land right in his hand. That's one of the most innovative ideas that I've seen. And I didn't even know you could catch a drone. Like, dude, like, what if something went wrong? What if it just like flew right into his face? Like, we would have seen a massacre. But I also have to give another pro for in this match, the inclusion of Karrion Kross and his character work that he has done. Now, I'm also going to talk about this insane promo that Karrion Kross cut right after WrestleMania. He went on to the WrestleMania post show and he essentially called out Triple H for not booking him and not listening to the crowd, and he is very, very, very angry. Mentioned that was from Killer Kross, so I don't know if we're about to get a shift in character for Karrion or not, but regardless, Karrion Kross's character work is top tier right now, and when he went down to that ring and tried to convince Allen, not AJ, Allen to use the brass knucks, I thought, man, we're really going to see a turn here from AJ. But AJ throws the brass knucks to the side, gets back into that ring, eats a mean right hand from Logan Paul, and then a pulverizer, and as a result, AJ Styles loses at WrestleMania. And Karrion Kross was proved right. AJ Styles didn't do what was needed, and he lost to Logan Paul on the grandest stage of them all. Now you've got this YouTuber who is moving up the card, and this really well-renowned superstar falling down the card in AJ Styles. Karrion Kross was justified with everything that he said, and AJ should have listened to him, and because he didn't, he walks out with that L. The Rock single-handedly ruined the story of the main event, and he wasn't even there to do it. Why bother having him involved in the first place if he knew he wasn't going to be at Mania? Literally nothing would have changed. Travis Scott had no right being the main vocal point. We can talk about The Rock not being there all we want. I'm trying to now think, what could the main event have looked like if we were pivoting away from Travis Scott? Like, let's say if Big Dwayne wasn't available for WrestleMania, right? And they knew that well ahead of time. And we knew that on the road to WrestleMania, we are going to only see him at Elimination Chamber and nothing until after WrestleMania. What do you do when Travis Scott is involved with it? I also would have had Travis Scott be involved, but I also would have included another additional swerve. Somebody else to help out. Something that would have made your jaw drop. I don't know if, like, just throwing like a name out there, like a Drew McIntyre being involved in this story, maybe could have made sense. But again, we're reaching because the setting was never placed, right? We never really got anything that teased another person being involved. It was The Rock, and when The Rock decided he wasn't going to show up, it put these plans into a blender. There's no question about it. Again, I'm trying to really see the positive outlook on this, that we have John Cena as the 17th world champion, that he did say he was going out there to try to ruin pro wrestling. And within the confines of the story that is being told, it does feel like this is what was meant to happen. For all we know, John Cena is going to come out here on Monday Night Raw and say, The Rock was never going to show up. I never asked The Rock to show up. He never said he was going to show up with me. He gave me the opportunity and I'm running with it. And I'm here to ruin pro wrestling. I'm here to make sure you don't get what you want. I'm here to make sure that you get Travis Scott and not The Rock. Like, I don't know. It could be viewed as underwhelming or it could be viewed as genius, whichever way you look at it. It's probably somewhere in the middle. And on Monday Night Raw, we could imagine this though. On Monday Night Raw, Rock just rolls on out night after WrestleMania like nothing happened. That could happen. You never know with Dwayne. Matches of both nights. Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns, CM Punk. Gigantic up right there. And we've already given an up to Io Sky, Rhea Ripley, and Bianca Belair. Just absolutely fantastic matches across both nights. What a back-to-back way to go in WrestleMania. Ending night one with the Punk Roman Rollins match and starting night two with Rhea, Bianca, Io. Just fantastic ways to start and end a WrestleMania, or I guess end and start a WrestleMania. Just kudos to those 6 people out there. They crushed it. They deserve all their flowers. They were incredibly memorable matches at WrestleMania, ones that people are going to go back and watch for years and years on end. Dominik Mysterio, super ultra mega babyface arc, best win of the weekend right here. Yeah, it's Dom. Congratulations, Dom, on winning the IC championship. But you want to know what? I have to put a con here because Mr. Santi Zap is going to be one of the most insufferable people ever after seeing Dirty Dom walk out with the title. I can already hear that man on his stream right now. I can already hear the glazing. I can already hear the Glock Glock 5000 going on. Like, sure, congratulations, Dominik Mysterio. Absolutely deserve it. But, oh my God, I'm not ready for this. Now, in all seriousness, yes, this match was incredible. Big pro right here for this fatal 4-way between Penta, Braun Breaker, Finn Balor, and Dirty Dominik Mysterio. It was great action, from the power moves of Braun Breaker to the athleticism of Finn Balor to the high-flying ability of Penta, and then just the weaselness of Dirty Dominik Mysterio. When he turned on Finn Balor in that match and Finn Balor caught his legs, that reached a whole other level in this fatal 4-way. The smoothness of the ring work between those 4 was incredible, and the timing was even better. There was no downtime in this matchup. There was no awkward moments. There was no like flubbed spots. There was no like just waiting around to try to catch somebody. All 4 guys knew what they were doing in there. They went in there and they delivered, and they put on one of the best matches of the entire WrestleMania weekend. And another one of the giant pros that I had was right after the match where Dirty Dominik Mysterio decided that he was going to run right back down to the ring. He wasn't done celebrating with the crowd. He raises that title high, and I don't believe for a second that that was planned. I think he saw the moment, the opportunity. He was like, this is my chance to just get a moment with all these fans who have been booing me for years now. The fans finally love Dom. No longer do we love to hate him. We love to love him. So congratulations, Dom. What a pro. Also, how can we talk about this whole night with pros and cons without giving this moment a gigantic pro? Drew McIntyre taking a selfie right in the middle of his match with Damian Priest is one of the funniest things that I've ever seen. And the caption right there, "Still bored at work," is hilarious. This thing had like 100K likes within like 5 minutes. Drew McIntyre, gigantic pro. I loved this moment. And just the way that Drew McIntyre thinks outside of the box when it comes to social media. His social media work is masterful. There's a reason why he wins Social Media Star of the Year. And this photo proves it yet again. Sorry, my chat is confirming that it was 2 minutes. It was 100K in 2 minutes. And then very quickly, let's just go through some of the other stuff that happened at WrestleMania 41 that I loved. I love seeing Jey Uso win the World Heavyweight Championship, so that's a big time pro for him. Seeing Gunther tap out, though, not a big fan of it. we're going to have to give that a con. And also, I'm going to have to give the crowd a bit of a con for this match, as it felt like they should have been a lot more electric for Jey Uso's win than they were. So anyways, 1 pro, 2 cons. The New Day versus the War Raiders, solid match. It was what it was, but this felt like it could have belonged on an episode of Monday Night Raw. I'm going to have to give it a con, and I'm also going to have to give another con for there being no TLC match at WrestleMania. Ooh, the 2 in 1 go, not too good. Jade Cargill and Naomi, fantastic match. Great display of power from Jade Cargill. Loved what I saw in this one. It was exactly what it needed to be. Naomi is fantastic in that ring. Great as a character. This gets a pro. The new United States champion, Jacob Fatu, definitely gets a pro. His matchup against LA Knight was fantastic. I'm also going to give a pro to the entrances from both Jacob and LA Knight. Both looked like mega stars. The great Samoan werewolf mask that Jacob had, and then the car that LA Knight entered out of, where he rolled the window down. Great entrances. Couple of pros there. I got to get that right. El Grande Americano versus Rey Fenix. Again, a really fun match. That beautiful reverse 450 or whatever you want to call it from El Grande Americano was a thing of beauty, and the entrance that El Grande Americano was also hilarious. I'm gonna have to give that 2 pros. The 1 con though is that there was no Rey Mysterio. There was no Rey Mysterio match against El Grande Americano, and as much as I love that Rey Fenix got this opportunity, I wish that Rey Mysterio, with the limited amount of WrestleManias we still have, was able to wrestle, but of course that's out of our hands. Not much we can do about that. Get well soon, Ray. Tiffany Stratton, Charlotte Flair, bit of an ugly match. I'm going to give this one a con. I didn't love the matchup itself. I thought that it was a bit stiff and just, it wasn't necessarily for me in the overall, with my overall enjoyment of the show. So I'm going to give it a con. But anyways, Tiffany Stratton winning, good for her. And we already talked about how amazing that main event was at night 1. But I have to give a gigantic pro again to the execution of the heel turn from Paul Heyman. It was one of those moments that everyone was asking for leading into WrestleMania, but no one had a clue how it was actually going to go down. So I'll give that a huge pro. Big up to how Paul Heyman was able to basically sell us all that he had turned on CM Punk and was aligning with Roman Reigns, only to stab Roman in the back. Oh, 1 more pro. That incredible spear from Braun Breaker to Carlito. Poor Carlito, man. Why is this man ever around anytime Braun Breaker is there? Carlito's going to have nightmares for years and years and years because of Braun. That super spear is insane. Carlito, just retire at this point, dude. That's not cool. And probably the last thing that we really have to talk about here is Becky Lynch's return to WWE. She was Lyra Valkyria's mystery partner. The match itself was okay. It really wasn't anything too special. But now we have 2-belt Lyra and a returning Becky Lynch, who is now a tag team champion as well. There's some questions around who attacked Bayley, and I think that this could be the evolution of the Jade Cargill storyline in a sense, where it's like Jade Cargill was taken out, and now somebody comes in and replaces as a tag team champion, and we find out later on who took that person out. It might have been Becky Lynch who took out Bayley all along. It might have been Lyra Valkyria who took out Bayley all along. Who knows? But I got to give a huge pro for Becky Lynch coming on back. It was a great moment for her, but I do have to also give some cons right here. I'm not happy that Liv Morgan has been she's been around that main event scene. She was crushing it as the women's world champion, and then just kind of thrown to the side, given the tag team titles, helping build up the Jade Cargill storyline with Naomi and Bianca, and then kind of thrown to the side right there, and then given a last-minute Mania match, only to have the titles taken off of them again. So I feel bad for Liv Morgan and Raquel Rodriguez. I believe both of them deserve a little better than this, and as a result, that's a con for me. And we've talked about it at length, but Cody Rhodes and John Cena, one of the more split matches in the IWC. A lot of people loved Cody, a lot of people wanted Cena to win, and we got the result that we did. You guys know my thoughts on that. We don't need to talk about it anymore. But yeah, this match it's certainly a memorable one. I just don't know if it's going to be memorable long term for a good reason or a bad. If the story goes in the right direction and we get some great swerves and great reveals, this might be viewed in such a different way in like 2 months' time. It also might be viewed in a very different way as like it was even worse than we saw, right? Like who knows where we're going to be in a couple months' time if they make sense of all this. But I'm still cautiously optimistic. But there we have it. Those are my pros and cons, and those are your hot takes from WrestleMania 41. Let me know your thoughts on this series in this format. I'm going to continue to mess around with how it is formed. We might start doing like the pros and cons of all the results at the very start and then get into your hot takes after, or we might do it in this exact format that we did here today. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I'm always looking to evolve the series and try to make it better for your entertainment. But again, thank you so very much for spending your weekend with me watching WrestleMania. Whether you tuned in for 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 24, 48, 72, whatever it was throughout the subathon, I appreciate you being here for it. So thank you so much. Make sure you leave a like on this video. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Turn on those notifications and keep coming back every single day because we upload wrestling videos every single day. We'll see you tonight for Monday Night Raw. Should be an interesting show.